have people voting from Tennessee? Right here in our town, it's illegal.
No, there was no fraud. I did nothing wrong and there was no fraud.
The Lawrence County Board of Elections today heard allegations of voter fraud coming from the city council election. They held that hearing earlier this morning. And one of the candidates, Rosa Booker, filed a protest claiming 2 absentee ballots were submitted by voters who don't live in Clinton. 7 News reporter Stephanie Borman attended that hearing today to get the facts. She's joining us now. Stephanie.
Gordon, the absentee ballots that Booker challenged favor incumbent District 2 Councilwoman Shirley Jenkins, who won the election with 85 votes. Jenkins tells me the allegations are bogus and the hearing was a waste of time, but today it was up to the Lawrence County Board of Elections to decide if they would uphold the contested ballots.
We know that fraud has taken place.
With a stack of papers in hand, Rosa Booker presented the Lawrence County Board of Election with evidence she says proves incumbent City Councilwoman Shirley Jenkins benefited from voter fraud. Booker says Jenkins' kids, Tanisha and Christopher, voted absentee despite no longer living in Clinton.
I had to bring in the proof that her daughter is from Knoxville, Tennessee. I had to bring in proof that her son is from Spartanburg.
However, Jenkins tried to set the record straight.
My daughter works and is a student at the University of Tennessee. My son just recently moved to Spartanburg where he comes back and forth.
Jenkins says her children are registered to vote in Lawrence County, which the State Board of Elections did confirm to 7 News. A spokesperson for the State Board of Elections says Christopher Jenkins moving would not impact his eligibility to vote in Lawrence County. Still, Booker, who came in 2nd place with 29 votes, challenged the ballots.
Why do we have people voting from Tennessee? Right here in our town, it's illegal.
Even if the absentee ballots were not counted, I still fairly beat her.
After hearing from both sides and a quick executive session, the Lawrence County Board of Elections discredited Booker's allegations, saying no fraud was committed in the city council election.
I would like to make a motion to not set aside these 2 absentee ballots as they have met the standards of the South Carolina election laws.
A lot going on here. As you can imagine, Booker was not thrilled with the outcome, but she says she's actually not going to give up trying to prove that fraud was actually committed.
Okay, now this can be confusing for people because there was absentee ballot fraud, or at least a lot of evidence in North Carolina's 9th Congressional District just this past year. This is very different.
Right.
So these are 2 votes in question, and in both cases the state tells you it does not appear to be fraud.
So the easiest way to sort of understand this is, according to the state, just because someone quote unquote doesn't sleep in the address that they're registered to vote in, they are still allowed to, as long as they're not registered to vote anywhere else. That's where the problem arises. If I'm registered to vote, for example, here in Spartanburg and also, somewhere else, like across state lines, that's an issue.
But in this case, there's no evidence of that happening.
That's what they say,
in
yes.
Case. All right, Stephanie, thank you.
Thank you.